Hey guys, welcome back to Math with McKay. We're continuing on with circle graphs. I am Miss McKay from Lucille Brown, and we are going to go ahead and get started. Our focus today is the entirety of SOL 610. The students, given a practical situation, will make observation and inferences about data represented in a circle graph and compare circle graphs with the same data represented in bar graphs, pictographs, and line plots. Be sure to have your paper, pencil, and calculator as we will go through and have opportunities for you to practice on your own. Here are our definitions. All right, take a look at those for a quick second. They are the same from the previous slides or previous days. And now we're going to tap into your solutions from yesterday, okay? So yesterday we had these plots here, and we had to figure out which of the graphs matched. So what you had to do is, first of all, you had to pay attention to this little key here in the top corner. It says that each one of these X's represent 5 boxes. So what you would have had to done is add up all of these individually together and then seen how much Lizzie sold out of the total amount, how much Susie sold out of the total amount, so on and so forth, okay? So when you did that, you would have come out with the top graph being the representation for the amount of boxes students sold. All right, so then we'll tap into the next one, okay? Same thing, we had to go ahead and pay attention to the key in the top corner here where it says that 1x is represented or representing, 10 quarters. So you add them all up together. When you add them all up together, then take them and divide them individually. You come out with, again, the top graph being your final answer. All right. Oh, we got another challenge. Hey, grab a partner. I challenge you to find a partner. All right, guys, so I want you guys to take an opportunity to possibly see if your parents will join in on this. All right, first ask your parents. Then if they don't, then find a sibling or a friend that you can go ahead and do this dance with. Hit your groove, hey. Hit your groove, hey. Step, bean, ride, up, down, come here, give me a five. Yeah, I love my guys, no question about it. We gon' ride away, we hit that groove. They say you so smooth, yeah, you so fly, and then we hit the whoa. Hit no folk, they begging for some more. We been that low and hit the road. I tell my boy, let's rock and roll. Hey, I be the littlest one inside this party. Don't make me get this up and started. I be the littlest one inside this party. Don't make me get this up and started. I be the littlest one inside this party. Don't make me get this up and started. The way that we... All right, guys, so that was an opportunity for you to go ahead and show us what you got. Let's see who can do it the best with their partner. Again, make sure you add it to that Google form and we will go from there. All right, so we'll read this question together and we'll go over it. The graph shows the number of customers of a cellular phone company over a period of time. Which line graph represents the same data shown in the graph? All right, so now here on our circle graph, if we notice, the only thing that they give us is the years. They don't give us a percentage, they don't give us a fraction, they don't give us anything to really go off of, right? So now we then have to kind of pay attention to the percentages within itself as far as how the graph is sectioned off, okay? Even though the numbers are not particularly on there, it still gives you a kind of visual of how things would flow and go, all right? So if we look here and we pay attention to the graphs itself, okay? If you look at the years, 1990 had the least amount. So then we go over to our graphs and we pay attention to 1990. And all of them, with the exception of one, shows that 1990 had the least amount. But then it also says that 1999, if you look at the line graphs over here, both of these line graphs says that 1999 had the most. And if you look here, 1999 doesn't look larger than 2000. So we can automatically eliminate those two just alone, okay? Another one that we could eliminate because it said that 1990 had the least amount, and this one is showing that 1990 had the most, is this one at the top corner for our answer to be this one in the bottom, okay? Let's move on to another question. A survey was taken in Mrs. White's class. Which table represents the same data shown in the graph? Again, here we have another one where they don't show us too much in regards to numbers. They just give us this circle graph, and then we have to take this circle graph and convert it to a bar graph, which we've been doing. Okay. Um, then again, we have to go ahead and have to pay attention to the circle itself and see the numbers within the circle. Okay. Within the bar graph, excuse me. If we look at the circle, um, foreign movies, excuse me, foreign movies had the least amount of people who enjoyed them, or that was their favorite type of movie. Okay. So then we go over here and we look at all of the bar graphs, and pretty much all of the bar graphs are showing that foreign movies have the least amount. Now, this graph is kind of, tricky because though it doesn't give you numbers, they give you sections, and then some of those sections kind of look very similar to each other, but then you have to actually pay attention to the sections itself. If we look here, it looks as though romance and science fiction, their percentage of the circle looks very similar to each other or equivalent. And then you look at drama and action, and theirs look equivalent or very similar. And then horror and comedy, theirs look very close, but one is slightly off. All right, and you have to just pay attention to those. Just pay attention to the details itself. All right, so then we come over here to our bar graphs, and we kind of look at those. As we said, romance and science fiction, they have the same amount. Now, there's one we can go ahead and automatically eliminate because it says that all of them have the same amount of they're all equal to each other with the exception of foreign movies. So I would go ahead and put an X on this here because all of them are not equivalent to each other, right? Then we go over to the other ones and we kind of, pay attention to them and analyze them to see what, they're saying. So here it says that drama and action are similar. And then it also says that romance and science fiction are similar. So if we look at the other ones, we see this one shows that science fiction and romance is similar, and then drama and action are similar. But the issue with this one is that horror movies seems to have the most, or has way more favorites than science fiction does, and this one doesn't show that that is the case. So we would put an X through that one. Then we can go ahead and pay attention to the last two that we have. And again, you pay attention to the sections of the circle as well as the bars on the graph. It says that foreign language, of course, had the least amount, and it says that comedy was not too far off of the least amount or similar to um, foreign movies, and that's not the case here. It says that comedy is closer to horror movies than it is to foreign movies. So we would put an X through this one, and the only option or the only answer that would be true is this one in the top corner. All right. So now we will continue on. Here is an opportunity for you guys to look at excuse me, look at the pictographs, and we would go ahead and figure out based off of the pictographs um, which of these at the top or which of these within the question is represented by the circle graph. Okay, so again, the pictograph, they give you a key, and that key tells us that in the top one, if we look at question number 2, where we're talking about favorite sodas, um, that it is for every every 1 cup is equivalent to 3 votes. Okay, so here on the circle graph, if we look at it, it says that Coca-Cola should take up half of the amount of votes that there are total. And grape, orange, and Sprite, they should all be equivalent, or excuse me, grape and Sprite should be equivalent to each other, and orange may be a little more, right? So what we would do is we would go ahead and we would add up the numbers. So for every 1 cup, it is equivalent to 3 votes. So if we look at answer choice A, and then B, and then C, okay? Answer choice A says that they have a total of 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 9. 3 and 3 makes 6, plus 3 makes 9, plus 9, which makes a total of 18. And we do the same thing with cup B. And we'll go ahead and add them up individually. It says that it has 9 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 is equal to, again, 18. And then C says 6 plus 3 plus 6 plus 3, 9 plus 9 is equal to 18. Now the total amount for all of them is equivalent to 18. That's all fine and dandy. But what we have to pay attention to is each individual one and how much they take up of the circle. So out of all of the circles, so if all 3 of these come out to be 18, we have to take half of the amount of sodas, or favorite sodas votes, and put that towards the Coca-Cola. And the only one that shows that Coca-Cola has half of the amount of the votes is the answer choice B. Answer choice A says that Coca-Cola only has 3 votes, and then answer choice C says that Coca-Cola only has 2 votes. And excuse me, 6 votes. And we need a total of 9 to make half of 18. So our answer for this one is going to be B. And then we do the same thing with favorite day of the week. We again have to figure out the breakdown of the circle, and that goes back into the questions the pictures that we saw in some of the previous slides, where we had to know how to break up a circle and what the percentages were equivalent to. So Saturday and Sunday take up a quarter of the circle. If we were to go ahead and this line were to go straight across, it would be broken up into 4s, and now it would represent a quarter of the circle, but they both combined together make half of the circle. 25 and 25 gives me 50. 50 is half of 100, because a circle is made up of a total of 100%. So then when we do that and we go ahead and we would divide out the answers, our answer would come out to be C. All right, here is your independent practice. We will go ahead and take the questions. Some of the questions are similar, some of them are different, but answering each individual question For this one, you have to match the graphs to the pictograph, and there could be more than one answer. There could just be one, but you have to make sure that you go through and check each one of them in order to ensure you have all of your correct answers. All right. Here's the next question. For this one, based off the graph, which of the three statements are true? So here you are interpreting, you're trying to read the graph and figure out which statements would be true, or it would accurately depict the graph itself. And then here is another question. The circle graph below shows the video game preferences of middle school students at Washington Middle School, and you'll just answer this one question. If 350 students were surveyed, about how many chose Fortnite? And last but certainly not least, don't forget to check out Dreambox for 10 to 15 minutes a day. You can do Dreambox or you can do quizzes, but make sure you do something productive. All right, y'all enjoy the rest of your day.